All right, as promised, we've got a huge show for you guys tonight. The first half of the show is myself reviewing Monday Night Raw that took place last night, the final Monday Night Raw, the final WWE televised event before Crown Jewel. And on the second half of the show, we've got Ashley Mann back with us to talk about Crown Jewel with all of her predictions and thoughts. So this is a jam-packed show. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get everything going right after this.
This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right, everybody, welcome to the WWE Podcast. Big week here on the show and in wrestling. If you're a WWE fan, we've got a lot going on this week as Raw has just ended. And now, of course, we're turning our attention to Crown Jewel in just a couple days, or depending on when you're listening to this, it could be today or maybe even in the past. It's all relative, but we're going to preview tonight Crown Jewel with Ashley Mann, and I'll be doing the Monday Night Raw review solo up front, and we'll try to get through that as quickly as we can to get to Ashley, which I'm really excited about. As always, such a great guest and a long time co-host. You know, she's really been here since the beginning of time when the WWE Podcast came into existence. She's been here a few years, so it's really great to have her back. It wouldn't be a pay-per-view without Ashley giving her thoughts and her opinions and her predictions for the show. So we're going to get to that in a minute. First, thank you for joining me here as we are just kind of closing in on Crown Jewel. I think a lot of WWE fans are just going to be excited when this whole thing is over and we get to move on to, regularly scheduled programming with WWE pay-per-views. But be careful what you wish for, because Survivor Series is next on the docket. And that one, if you want regular pay-per-views, may not really fit your taste. It doesn't fit mine. They've really, I think, just completely blown up what Survivor Series used to mean and how excited I used to get for it, and made it an exhibition pay-per-view that has no consequences whatsoever. They have toned down the brand versus brand thing. At least last year they did, but I'm sure they'll try to incorporate that again this year, at least to some degree, and try to make us excited for matchups that should not happen. Because this is not a co-branded pay-per-view in which there should be men and women fighting from each brand. You just had the brand split, and now we're going right back to seeing the same individuals fight again. But we'll get to that pay-per-view when we get to Survivor Series. November always scares me, but again, thank you everybody for joining me. If you want the ads removed, I know a lot of you, it's not your favorite part of the show. There's a couple options. You can, of course, go to Apple Podcasts. Right on our front page, there's a get rid of those pesky ads button, literally, and you click on that, and you get 7 days free. So you'll get to listen to every show we do, including the Crown Jewel review, ad-free, and you get to try it for 7 days. And let me know what you think. If you like to stick around, it's only $2.99 a month after that. You'll get every show we ever do ad-free. Or you can join us on Patreon, and for $1 a month, you get everything ad-free. Everything. So think about it. Good time to join as we ramp up into the end of the year, and then Royal Rumble. And before you know it, bam, WrestleMania season's upon us again. That's how quickly things happen. But all right, well, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. And let's start with Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. Now, why Bianca Belair was awarded a Raw Women's Championship match really makes little to no sense. We don't know why. Again, contenders matches are supposed to be believed as people that win those matches. Competitors that win those matches are supposed to be in contention for the championship, because apparently number one contender doesn't exist anymore. But Bianca has done nothing really to earn it. And they just wanted to make the biggest match they could, even though it would make no sense to have Charlotte retain the championship if she's going to SmackDown. And Ashley and I, by the way, went into crazy depth about the possibilities of Charlotte retaining and then having Becky lose, and yet the SmackDown Women's Championship is on Raw, the this Raw Women's Championship is on SmackDown. Do they do a title swap? And we really just go into depth of crazy just frustration over the convolutedness of this whole all the women on every show, and why the championship matches are being awarded, and how does this work if the championship is exclusive to the show and the talent's exclusive to a different show. We really got frustrated, but it was a lot of fun talking with Ashley about this specifically. So you'll hear more about it a little bit on our believe it or not, our Crown Jewel preview and prediction show, which is immediately following this. So anyway, Charlotte comes out at the beginning of the show, does a nice job of delivering her promo here. I really enjoyed Charlotte on the mic, as she just seems to be getting more and more confident, honestly. And ever since she came back from injury, it's just like she's been reinvented. Ever since she started calling herself the Opportunity, it really does feel exactly like that. But Charlotte asked why there was no celebration for her in the final night before she moves to SmackDown, and complained she was being forced to defend her championship in that night's main event, and pointed out that Bianca was being given shots at both Raw and SmackDown titles in a 4-day stretch. And then Bianca came out to confront Flair, with eventually it breaking down into a fight. And so we get the Raw Women's Championship match. Bianca Belair defeats Charlotte via disqualification when Charlotte used a steel chair in what was otherwise, again, a really good match. And boy, oh God, is Bianca just so good. And Charlotte as well. I would never mind seeing these two in a match again. I think there's a lot more to come. But this ends at a DQ because WWE felt that they couldn't give the championship to Belair, who, by the way, is going to be part of Raw. So you'd think that she would have won it here. But Charlotte, they're still trying to protect, and having her be a champion on SmackDown to them is more of a priority, because I think they're going to switch the championships like they did last year with the Raw and SmackDown tag titles. I think they're going to do the same here with the women's championships. So they want Charlotte a champion on SmackDown, which will eventually morph into the SmackDown Women's Championship. So I did expect some kind of wonky finish for sure in this one. King of the Ring semifinals, Xavier Woods defeats Jinder Mahal after a rope walk elbow, and it's going to be in the finals, Finn Balor versus Xavier Woods for the King of the Ring title at Crown Jewel. I won't give away who I think is going to win, because the preview and prediction show will give you that, but I will just say that this match was good, and Xavier continues to show why he could easily go off on his own. Hint, hint. Hint, effing hint. I'm really over, though, the whole just acting like children every single time they're on a microphone with the interviewer before they go out to the ring. And I don't know. To me, always acting like children when you're getting paid a man's salary is embarrassing, among many, many, many other things that I despise about the New Day. Kofi and Xavier, to me, are just the absolute worst part of the New Day. And I mean that in a character's perspective. I don't mean that on a personal level, nor do I mean that on an in-ring competitive, a competitor's level. They're both very good in the ring. It's all about character here. Just the problem I have with Big E, but let's move on. Austin Theory defeats Jeff Hardy via pinfall after hitting the Theory KO. And R-Truth was interrupted backstage, and because R-Truth was in pursuit of the 24/7 championship. And then Truth accepted a match on behalf of Jeff Hardy, setting up a rematch of last week's clash. After Theory won, he took a selfie with Hardy, only to be hit with a twist of fate before Hardy took a selfie of his own. So Hardy gets a little bit of retribution, even though he loses to Austin Theory. So I think the most interesting part of this is to see if we see Willow or another alter ego of Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. Like that's really what we're looking forward to. Drew McIntyre and Big E defeat Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode via pinfall after Big E hit Roode with a big ending. After brawling during their tag team match, McIntyre and E got along this week until after the match when they exchanged words. So, they actually didn't implode on one another. They did coexist. So that's a rare feat when you have foes put in a tag team match, that usually they implode in some capacity. They didn't, and they functioned pretty well as a tag team. Although, I said this with Ashley, I don't understand their relationship. I don't understand their on-screen relationship anyway, where they are just best buds. They have their cool little secret insider handshakes at times, like, they're brothers, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for no reason, they just start flipping out at each other in the ring. It's very bipolar. I don't understand it at all. But here we are with Big E and Drew having to have a championship match at Crown Jewel. You'll hear our predictions in just a few minutes. Mansoor defeats Cedric Alexander via pinfall. I don't really have much to say there other than Mansoor is just being groomed for the crowd in Saudi Arabia, so they're building him up a little, I guess. And by the way, if it sounds like I'm reading, I am. I'm reading from CBS Sports just so I don't miss anything that happened on Raw, especially the things that weren't on the Hulu version. So it's not that I didn't watch Raw and I'm just relying on the descriptions of the show. I'm not that lazy, I promise. Okay. Next on the docket here, Bobby Lashley and Goldberg participated in a remote interview where Goldberg again vowed to kill Lashley, which Lashley pointed out as criminal. Before saying Goldberg couldn't kill him anyway, Lashley finished by issuing a warning that Goldberg has never faced him without restrictions, like the no-holds-barred match at Crown Jewel. So Ashley and I also talked about this, but I'll briefly just say that this match is not one I'm looking forward to because of the limitations of Goldberg in the ring. And when you start talking about killing your opponent, it reeks of desperation for attention to this match. Because I think on its own merit, with typical wrestling build and story, they could not get the crowd interested in this because it was so poorly received at the last pay-per-view. Poorly received. So when they go the route of just extreme, that tells you that they are in desperation mode to make this match relevant. That's all. And it's no disrespect to Bobby, but that's just the reality of it. Ashley and I also talk about Gage and what we'd love to see happen at Crown Jewel. It gets a little bit morbid. I will say that in a fun way. Okay, RK Bro defeats the Street Profits via disqualification after interference by AJ and Omos. Styles hit Randy Orton with a phenomenal forearm in the middle of the match, resulting in the DQ. Omos then attacked Riddle before the team also took out the Profits. So Omos stood tall. Randy Orton gets a little bit of, or rather AJ gets payback on Randy after getting hit with an RKO 2 weeks in a row. And so logic would dictate that RK Bro should retain at Crown Jewel, but I'll let you mull over that for a few minutes. This was fine. I think the Street Profits are absolutely here to stay in the tag team division, in a tag team division that is paper thin. They are really one of like 3 teams that exist, which is like 2 more teams than the women have. So this was fine. I didn't have any issue with this. I really didn't. RK Bro seems to be on the same page. I hope that they have a little bit longer of a reign, at least a couple of months before they decide to potentially break them up. But okay, the Queen's Crown semifinals. Doudrop defeats Shayna Baszler via pinfall after countering the Karafuda clutch. Doudrop advances to face Zelina Vega in the finals at Crown Jewel. So Doudrop does score a victory here, but a believable one because she used her weight. They won't say that because it's offensive, but that's the fact. I mean, that's physics. She used her mass to keep the shoulders of Baszler down. End of story. Can't say that, right? We're in a different world now, but that's the reality. And I have nothing against Doudrop. I'm a fan of Doudrop. I think she's got a great future. And I think her weight is an asset, not a comedy segment that Vince probably looks at it as. But Doudrop does advance. It was a bit surprising given Shayna Baszler was just snapping arms and then she loses to Doudrop cleanly. It was that part of it. I was like, I'm not super discouraged by it because, Doudrop is on the ascent. And she's in the finals, but it was just like, oh, really? Shayna Baszler was just snapping arms and being the Shayna Baszler we all want. And then she loses to, Doudrop cleanly. So take that for what you will. I'm not going to look too much into that. We'll have to see what happens after the Crown Jewel pay-per-view when all the rosters are reset and the official season premiere begins. But, all right, Finn Balor defeats Mace via pinfall after hitting the coup de grace. Woods was out to watch his King of the Ring opponent live, and Finn Balor and Xavier Woods come face to face and have some words. And they were yelling at each other I didn't even really pay attention to exactly what they were saying. I think Xavier said something about Finn Balor's the prince, but I'm going to be one promoted to king or something like that. You know, I don't know. I have a pick that I think you're going to be interested in for who I think is going to win that match at Crown Jewel, and why, while I hate the decision, I hope it's for the right reason. That'll make more sense when you hear it. Hear my fleshed out answer to who I think is going to win the King of the Ring. So that essentially was Monday Night Raw. This is a little bit more of an abbreviated version of my Raw review, but I'm so excited to be able to get the Ashley and myself conversation with Crown Jewel in respect to Crown Jewel to you guys, that I didn't want to drag on too long about Monday Night Raw, because next week really is the reset button truly being hit, because the rosters are reset officially. We're past Crown Jewel. We're back to regularly scheduled programming, and we can all take a sigh of relief and see where the dust settles. So, guys, don't forget to also subscribe to us on Patreon if you want ad-free and Discord server access and a shout-out, as well as on Apple Podcasts for 7 days free ad-free. 7 days, yeah, I think that makes sense. 7 days for free, you get all our content ad-free. So consider joining us there. So with all that being said, thank you, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow night with your mailbag. So send in your questions to realwwepodcast@gmail.com or call in at 518-952-0247 with your voicemails. And until then, I'll talk to you next time. Okay, well, WWE Crown Jewel is just a couple days away as I record this on a Thursday. I'll never get used to saying that it's on a Thursday at noon when everyone in the continental United States is probably working. We'll be being able to view, some of you maybe, Crown Jewel coming to us from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It is actually a kingdom, guys. I did get confirmation of that. They didn't just add that in as some kind of fluff. It is truly a kingdom. It's designated as a quote-unquote kingdom. So we've got Saudi Arabia on the docket here for Crown Jewel, and I've got Ashley Mann back with me, as is tradition, to cover the Crown Jewel pay-per-view with all the predictions, all of the preview, and welcome back, Ashley. It's not a pay-per-view without you.
Hello, Matt. Thank you so much for having me. And you're right. It is back to our normal tradition of the preview shows, but it is so weird it being on a Thursday. It makes my whole week feel thrown off to think that there's a quote unquote pay-per-view that, like, oh, I need to check up and see like who did what and just stuff like that. So it's during the week, it just really throws you off, kind of like with just like the whole AEW on Saturday last week. It just, if one little thing moves wrestling wise in your world, it's like your whole week is thrown off.
Yeah, it does. It really screws you up. I know, like a lot of people, and I don't have time, but the AEW fans I watch on a regular basis, everyone was all screwed up last week. And it does, because you a lot of people build their week around wrestling and the show that's going to be on Wednesday night. Okay, it's Dynamite at Wednesday night. Okay, got it. I'm going to do this and this, and a lot of people do. They build their schedules around wrestling and when they'll be able to watch it. And with WWE Crown Jewel on a Thursday, it feels almost like a taboo Tuesday. Like it's very bizarre, right? Like, and I don't know. I'm sure there's some political reason, governmental reason for it being on a Thursday and not a weekend, I'd imagine. But nonetheless, we have a lot to talk about on this pay-per-view. And I guess let's really just kind of get into it. Well, let me ask this. What are you most looking forward to on this pay-per-view in terms of matches or potential returns?
Yeah, I'm not really thinking there's going to be anything return-wise, or honestly, like nothing that has popped out to me unless I'm just completely overlooking something that's obvious.
Come on, Elias is still out there. He's maybe he's still burning his stuff in the woods. I don't know.
That's why I had you, Matt. That's why I had you here. But yeah, speaking of, like, that's so weird. Like it's kind of like with the whole Aleister Black thing. Like they do all these promos and then but at least Aleister came back for 1 week, but Elias didn't even make a return. He just burned his guitar, right? And then was in the woods, and then just that was it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's with Brandon, the guy everyone's looking for. Brandon, what's his name, right? So, Gabby Petito's fiance. Maybe he's out there, maybe he's out there and they're buddying up and lost in the forest. I don't know, but it's right now. Yeah, I don't know where the hell Elias is. I don't know when he's coming back. I'm sure he'll pop up out of nowhere. But what about this? Are you looking forward to the main event of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, maybe the Hell in a Cell match between Edge and Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg? Like, do you have a match specifically that you're like, okay, this isn't technically a true pay-per-view, especially from those watching in the United States. It's kind of like watching Insurrection overseas when they did that pay-per-view for the UK. It's like, it's a pay-per-view that exists and we'll accept it, but it seems like a lot of people don't truly consider it a pay-per-view. But do you have a match specifically that you're like, okay, I'm actually invested in this?
Yeah, I think, and to be fair, I think it's a really good lineup. Like it's solid. The only thing that, and again, like we mentioned, not to go off on a tangent or anything, and not to get too detailed, but it's like it's one of those cards where it's like, dang, like you really wish you could get more hype for it, but due to everything surrounding the event itself, it's one of those shows that the majority, or I'm not gonna say the majority, but probably a good amount of people aren't gonna watch for various reasons. To each their own. So it's kind of sucks that they put all this work and build into such a solid and pretty good card, and it's just kind of like the feel good aspect of it isn't quite there, so that kind of sucks. But man, the match that I'm most looking forward to is that Reigns and Lesnar match, and I think for me it's obvious just because the story itself, like it's without a doubt, the best thing going in WWE right now, in my opinion, at least. Maybe someone out there, things like the women is much better, but I don't know. I just think that this whole story and the intrigue with Paul, and who's he really with, and I don't know if you saw his tweet. I think it was maybe today, or maybe it was yesterday, or it was a post he did saying that he was going to. It may have actually been a post. That he was going to leave Crown Jewel, with the heavyweight universal champion, but he didn't specifically mention Roman Reigns' name. So it's like things like that, I mean, like we've talked about before, Paul is just a master at. So not to get too much into it, but yeah, I think that one in and of itself, like I would want to watch the show just for that match.
I think for me, that's my second match, and it's a close, very, very close second, just simply because the storyline's really, really good. Roman Reigns, everything he touches right now is it just turns to magic. Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar. We all know what he brings to the table. I don't think it's going to be like a 5-minute match. I do believe it'll be 10, 12 minutes at least. I don't think it'll be, again, it's not a Goldberg special. Some people think it's going to try to be finish. I highly doubt that. These two have a lot of experience in the ring, and we'll get to the full preview on that match in a minute, but for me, I think that the match that I'm most emotionally invested in, and again, it's a close second for me, but my top one is Seth Rollins and Edge. And just because of how great the promos have been with both guys, both of them are at the top of their games, particularly Seth Rollins, who has really fallen into this character that he just, whatever this is truly the character that Seth was meant to play. Coming out in ridiculous outfits, his promo style, starting out kind of soft and jokey and just kind of obnoxious, and then turning into this eventually just screaming anger. Like that has been his promo style and cadence over the last several months, and it's been really, really great. It's not just Dolph Ziggler screaming, 0 to 100 for everything he says has to be yelled. Seth makes it make sense when he starts to amp up his voice for what he's talking about. I really enjoyed that. The home invasion with Seth and Edge was very PG of a home invasion. I'll say that. There's a lot more he could have done other than sit at his kitchen table and eat an apple and orange juice, which, by the way, is like the worst combination in the history of combination of foods. Like, I'm telling you, everybody go like that's like having toothpaste and orange juice. I mean, it's a bad combination. I don't know why he chose
out of
everything
there.
The
apple.
Yeah. He's probably trying not to sell it. I mean, it's just like right. Like, but in a PG environment is about as home invasion-y as it could have been. But I really have enjoyed Edge's intensity. I love how they're bringing the cell back when it actually makes sense and not just there as part of the damn schedule. That's been excellent for me. And so I'm really invested in this in terms of just the violence of this match. Sadly, in a PG environment, this is where it kind of caps the potential, because unless there's a gift from the wrestling gods of somebody getting busted open the hard way, blood is needed in this match, in this rivalry, particularly it being the third one. It's the blow off inside of a cell. I really am hoping that if blood happens, it's either somehow approved by Vince, or if it happens the hard way, that it's obviously done safely in the most safest way possible, of course. But that to me is the number one match I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And to be fair, that is right up there with what I'm most looking forward to as well. like you said, I've always been a Seth Rollins fan, but this incarnation of Seth is just my favorite as well. I think the way he kind of transitioned from that Messiah version of Seth into this kind of like hybrid of all of his past incarnations, it's just it's just amazing. And the little laugh that he does, sometimes I think he can hold back a little bit on it, but man, like it's just a lot of times it's needed, and it's just obnoxious, and it's just him. You know what I mean? Like he is such a good heel that it's just everything that he's doing right now. I know a lot of people aren't really that hot on him, but everything that he's doing the past few months, especially, I've just really been a fan of, and I'm excited, like you said, to see that this direction is. I'm assuming this is the blow off, and like you had mentioned, the cell finally being used for what it was originally designed for, to put it into a feud and for the final chapter. So to see it actually being used for that is so refreshing. And it goes back to the, like, you wish that they would kind of just do away with the whole Hell in a Cell gimmick pay-per-view itself, because it would make this match mean even much more if we hadn't just seen a Cell this year. But even with that aspect, like these two guys, like they deserve credit. So like even if we did just have like a full pay-per-view of Cell matches, I'm still that excited to see this one because of the story and the work that they put into it. So it's definitely going to be a hard-hitting match. And man, I hope we get blood. Like as weird as that is, like I hope, like you said, we get something, because it's just not a Cell match without it. And to think that all the like bloodbaths that we've seen in the past in a Hell in a Cell, and to think that now we can't even get like a little stream of blood, it's just, man, it's sad.
It is. It's a tragedy. It is what it is. And I don't want blood all the time. I don't want chair shots to the head all the time. But if there was ever a time to do it, this is one of the deserving rivalries. Yeah, like if you could somehow get a chair that's, a worked chair that's actually safe somehow to hit somebody in the head, like this is the time to do it.
Just ask for forgiveness later, guys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
good.
Yeah, right. Like exactly. And if there was ever a time for the wrestling gods, like at WrestleMania 31 with Brock and Roman Reigns, that apparently wasn't supposed to happen with Brock getting busted open. That blood that Brock had in that match again was just added to the drama of the match, and so I'm really hoping that happens. I think at the very least we might get thumbtacks. I could see thumbtacks coming out in this match. Somehow they're okay with that. I've seen thumbtacks in a PG environment before, and some chair shots and blood could just a simple little quick razor blades cut to the head is unacceptable. But who knows? Maybe the wrestling gods will shine down upon us on Thursday midday, and we'll see what happens. But let's actually transition to the card here and start getting into our predictions and see how poorly we do. Although last time I got to say, I think you might have swept the table on the last pay-per-view.
I think I did. I think you only got
lost,
one wrong though, right?
Yeah.
Was it one of the women matches?
Yeah, it was one of the women's matches. Alexa Bliss, I think. I said she was going to win, and that didn't happen. So other than that, we were pretty damn good at the last pay-per-view. So let's see if we can keep that going. We're going to start with Mansoor, the hometown boy, Mr. Superhero, he's invincible in Saudi Arabia, versus Mustafa Ali, take your pick. Ali, I'll take this one first. I think it's a slam dunk that Mansoor wins. I mean, I don't see any reason for Ali to win this match. Again, if it was somewhere else, anywhere other than Saudi Arabia, I would say Ali should win this. But Mansoor in his hometown will be treated like the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, he is, for whatever reason, other than just being from Saudi Arabia, that's the only reason that they love him. He's going to win this match. And I think it's going to be a really good match, actually, because these two are technically sound. They're young guys, athletic. The quality of this match I have no problem with, and Mansoor easily takes the victory on this one, and they'll probably interview him afterwards for some kind of cheesy anything you guys put your mind to, you can do it kind of thing, because that's what they do, and the crowd will go yay, and that's a feel-good moment. So do you have any other thoughts on this, or what's your prediction rather?
You're listening to the WWE Podcast. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to the WWE Podcast. Let's get back to more great wrestling audio.
No, I think that's actually how he ended the last one too, by that same type of speech. So, yeah, and it's probably exactly how it's going to happen this time too. Who did he face last time? Was it like Cesaro, someone like that? I think.
I think it was. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, everything else to the side, he is a pretty solid and technical, like you said, wrestler. So it is going to be a very good match, and the intensity that he showed on Monday and with his promo, like I was actually impressed. Like it was cool that they either allowed him or he just impromptu like went off and spoke like his own language, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like it was a nice touch for the situation that we're in right now leading up to this show and the environment and everything. So I just thought it was pretty cool, and it was just a nice little like tie-in, because obviously like Mustafa is I'm pretty sure of the same background as well, but I'm pretty sure they're both Muslim. So it's just a pretty cool thing, because I think he had posted something saying like this is going to be the first time two Muslims have faced one-on-one on a pay-per-view or something to that effect. So again, I'm happy for them. And Mustafa, again, he posted something else as well, that he had said that he was going to donate his earnings, I guess, from the show to a charity. So it's just that's very cool of him. So shout out to him for doing that, because I'm sure they get a nice little chunk of change for all of that. So yeah, it's obvious that Mansoor is going to win because of where they're at. But if this were to happen, if they were to have a rematch, I could see Mustafa going over and then them kind of going from there. But it should be good nonetheless.
Yeah. Again, I have no problem with him winning. It's just the hometown boy's gonna.
He's
have
the only one that wins in his hometown.
Yeah. Really, that is, and I don't know if it's because of fear of pissing off the crowd. I don't know why they just will not make him lose. I mean, the heat that WWE would get, or whoever beats. Imagine getting a beat
like,
down of Mansoor.
Just wait to the last show. Wait to the last Crown Jewel, like the last of their, what was it, like a 10-year contract. Just wait. It's like save him for the main event.
Yeah,
and this big match, and he just gets like demolished in like 20 seconds.
They build him up, and then he's like main event against like I don't know, Roman Reigns or something for the Universal Championship. People have him believing
he's pegged to dethrone Roman.
And then they just have him get squashed like Kofi Kingston in 11 seconds, and then they just shut the lights off and run out of the arena.
Good night, folks.
Yeah, good night. Thanks for your cash. I mean,
like,
I would. Oh my God, I would give them so much credit for that. I mean, you talk about press, you talk about people losing there would be a full scale riot. I mean, people would actually, I think, jump the barricade. I mean, it would be, oh man. But he's going to win this. And if they want to continue this program afterwards, I think that's fine. And they have given Mansoor, like you said, a little bit of mic time, but I think it's all to build to this. I mean, it's almost like they have Mansoor on the roster simply for Saudi Arabia, like Saudi Arabia events. Like that's the only reason he's employed at times, it feels like. So, I'd like to see them do more with him in general, but yeah, he's going to win. If he doesn't, and they actually try to get some heat off this, I'll give WWE credit. Like I want to see him lose to see how the crowd reacts. But all right, let's get into the Queen's Crown finals here. So let's see. I got to look at the brackets. They don't have brackets on my screen. Awesome. So the finals, correct me if I'm wrong off the top of my head here. The final is Doudrop versus Zelina Vega. Yes, Zelina Vega. So take your pick on this one.
Yeah, so I honestly, I really don't know how to feel after this past Monday. So part of me is let me take even a step back. I kind of didn't want Shannon to win the tournament just because of how the winner of these tournaments are always portrayed as like a joke and, not really taken seriously. But part of me was hopeful that this is the first Queen of the Ring tournament. Maybe they'll take it seriously. Maybe this could be something good, right? And it kind of plays into her character, the Queen of Spades, all that good stuff. And then she lost on Monday, and my initial reaction was, "Are you effing kidding me?" Because like I thought that she was back on this track, And then she loses, and I'm just sitting there like, why, And then part of me kind of snapped out of it and was like, you know what, this actually may be a very good thing because of that exact reason. She's not going to be handled down with this moniker, having to be referred to as the Queen, say stupid catchphrases and just stuff like that. She can continue on because she's going to SmackDown, right?
Yes.
Next week, yeah. So she can start fresh on SmackDown and just run Rampage on then, and just hopefully just start fresh on there. So, having said that, and kind of taking a step back with the whole tournament thing, it kind of makes sense if someone like a Dewdrop wins. And again, like, it pains me to say that because of who Piper is, like how great of a wrestler she is and all the good stuff. But with what she's doing right now and this version of her, I think I would have said Zelina Vega if it was maybe anyone else, but with Dewdrop being in there, I'm going with Dewdrop. I think she's kind of the perfect fit in a weird way for this. Like, she's bubbly, she jumps around, she's like always happy. Like, I don't know if making a mockery of it is the correct way, but like, she can kind of just like, I don't know, help me out with that phrasing, but like, I don't know, I can just see her as like the perfect fit for her. So I'm going with Dewdrop as badly as I initially wanted it to be Shayna, just because I thought it'd be cool if they actually took this seriously, but obviously with the short 1-2 minute matches, that wasn't even a thought to begin with. So here we are.
No, I actually have not felt great about the way WWE has presented this tournament as a whole for the women. I'm cool with them having a Queen's Crown, i.e. Queen of the Ring tournament. I think it's great. But the thing that I don't like is that they did it, but then didn't execute it in a way that would show respect to the women. What I mean by that is, like, they had most of the matches from the semifinals or the qualifiers, not the qualifiers, but from the first round all the way till now, they have made most of the matches like 1-2 minutes long. I mean, Roman Reigns' entrances most weeks have been longer than the matches combined. I mean, it has been really, I think, kind of disrespectful.
He's not even off the ramp before their match is over with.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's been so. To me, that's a really disrespectful piece of what WWE, the way they presented it, and we're supposed to believe that this is some kind of prestigious crown and all that, and like, to some degree, it's gonna be cool to see a woman, win the inaugural Queen's Crown, but they've really executed it poorly in a way that's like, hey, yeah, we're doing this so we make the women on equal footing with the men, but we're not going to execute it in a way that actually shows that we have weight behind it. Like, we're doing it for optics. We're not doing it to actually show you that we have that the women are on the same level. Like, I don't know. I haven't felt great about the way that they've gone about it, particularly with just the length of matches for almost all of them. But that said, who do I think is going to win? I'm actually going to go with Zelina Vega on this one because Dewdrop, I think that I don't think she's right now anyway, that she's got the support behind her that maybe WWE thinks that she does. The fans are they're receptive to her and they cheer her, but I think that Zelina Vega would be to me a more entertaining queen because I think she would take it more seriously than Dewdrop. Dewdrop she'd be kind of floating around, dancing and having a good time. And that's fine, but I don't think what is she going to do with that crown? Like, I mean, there's only so many weeks she can come around and play pretend with her crown and her scepter. I mean, so I think that Zelina Vega, being that vicious kind of maleficent type of character, that she could really just go into an evil mode of being like an evil ruler or whatever. I mean, I'm a big Zelina Vega fan. To me, that's also part of it. Like, I want Zelina to get some kind of push, even if it's not the championship right now. So to me, Zelina would be a better fit because I think Zelina, who's been there longer, needs this push more than Dewdrop, who's got more time in front of her than Zelina Vega does. So I want Zelina Vega to win, and I also think she has the edge here. I don't know how she's going to win, given that the size difference is really crazy between these two. I mean, I don't know what kind of match we're going to get. I would suspect it could be a disaster, and honestly, it could be, but I don't think it will be. I think it'll be okay. I think the match will be probably 5 minutes long, 6 minutes at best. I really don't expect a long match with these two, but it'll probably be an okay match. Do you expect quality-wise? Are you concerned?
Yes and no. Like, I honestly don't think it's going to be that bad. I don't think it's going to be long. I think both of their respective entrances are going to be longer than the match itself because, they have that long ramp and it'll take forever to get there. So I don't think it's going to be a long match at all. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. Like I said, Dewdrop is very solid in the ring, so she can definitely handle her portion. And she's been in the ring with women the size of Zelina Vega before, so I don't think it's going to be as bad as people may expect it to be. I don't think it's going to be like, match of the year candidate or anything like that. But I think it's going to be, another good match. And I could definitely, like you were saying there, I can definitely see Zelina pulling this out because, like you said, I'm a huge fan of hers also. Like, I thought she should have won Money in the Bank. But, this could be good for her. And I could see her, like, just her look. Like, I could totally see her with, like, the crown and the whole get up. So that could be cool, too. But I think it's gonna be a matter of if they want the respective like kings and queens to be like a heel or a face going forward, like on the shows. Because these shows always kind of throw you off too, because it kind of gives you like that. I mean, this may be understanding it too much at this point, but like in a house show feel where like it's just like a show where like you don't really expect much to happen on, like like newsworthy wise. Like title changes and stuff like that. But so you kind of just expect like it to be like a feel good and like just like a fan favorite show. So that's why these kind of like are interesting too. And the more we start to have of them, the more it's like, okay, well, do you really need to make the crowd happy? You know what I mean? So it's a weird thing being over there for that respect too.
It is, yeah. No, I see what you mean. And I honestly could see this match going both ways. Quality wise, like I said, I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be a 5 out of 10. It won't be embarrassing. It won't be awesome. It'll be fine. Is really what it'll be. It'll be fine. But yeah, like I just think like right now Zelina Vega is in a position where they need to do something with her, and she's in need of a character change other than just randomly teaming up with Carmella for no reason and losing match after match. I mean, up until this tournament, she won like one match upon her return to WWE after she was let go. So this to me is a good point for her to jump off into. And nothing against Doudrop, Piper Niven. Like I have nothing bad to say about her. I like her. I like her promo style. I like her look. I think that her look is an aid, while some people don't. And clearly Vince McMahon probably looks at it as a negative, given the fact that he changed her name to Doudrop and made her just this bubbly kind of laughable character, which is what he did with Otis. If you're seeing some parallels here, it's clearly from the same source, which is Vince. I know Nia Jax is the same body type, that she's taken more seriously, and I hope at some point Doudrop, while she's fun, that we don't just look at her as kind of the comedy relief or the joke of the women's division. And she is a force to be reckoned with. It's like she is athletic in the ring for her size, and I'm looking forward to what she can do in the future. So I just don't think it's her time. I don't think it's her time. I think Zelina Vega will probably cheat to win, and that's fine. I mean, she's a heel, so. Yeah. So, okay, King of the Ring finals. Here we go. Xavier Woods and Finn Balor. I have thoughts on this, but I'm going to take a breath. What do you think?
So, this is actually a hard choice. And so I don't really watch like the up, down, down channel or anything like that, but I know that Xavier Woods has been pushing for this for, I guess, years now, that he just wants to be king. And someone, I forget where I heard it, but someone had made a point that, and I didn't even realize it, but he's never held a singles championship in his WWE career. It's only been like a tag team championship, which is kind of interesting when you think about like his longevity there, and like just he's not even like a universal, a United States championship or anything like that. So that was just kind of interesting. So part of me, and then when you look at Finn, right, like future Hall of Fame, right, at this point, right, like he's stacked. His resume is what it is, like he technically doesn't need anything else, and he's good. Now, granted, does he deserve it, and should he? Yeah. Like do I think he could be champion? Yeah. Like, there's totally, so much you could be doing with Finn, but that's, a whole other story. But for this situation in itself, while I think, they would love to play off of, like, cause he, like his whole thing is like Prince, Finn Balor and all that crap. But I think I could see them wanting to play off of that and him being promoted to king or whatever. And I think either Corey Graves or someone had made a reference to that this past week on commentary, or maybe it was last week. But I just, man, like, and saying all that, and like I've never been like a huge New Day fan. Like they're really cool, and like like it is what it is. Like I respect their hustle, and like they're a monster. Like they're just marketing, just everything behind them, and just the hustle and all that good stuff. I kind of want to see Xavier win it. I kind of think it'd be cool for him. Like for whatever reason, like, and I may have missed it if he explained why this means so much to him. But, like this dude, like it means so much to him. He's been with the company for how long now? Like, and it's one of those things like, does everyone, is it like a participation trophy equivalent type thing? Like, I don't view it as that. I think it's this guy's been there for a while and he deserves it, like it's not like they really take this thing seriously anymore anyway, which is a travesty in and of itself. So I say give it to Xavier. He's perfect for the role when you think about it. Like, if you're not going to have a heel be the king, have someone obnoxious like Xavier. So he'll come out there with his trombone and his crown and all that crap. So just let him take it and have fun, and he can finally claim that he's the king and be done with that. And then, because what are you really going to do with Finn as the king? Like, I don't picture a King Balor unless he's going to go like make a heel turn, which I don't really see the point in that right now because he's not like deeply involved with someone right now, storyline wise. So I say just give it to Xavier, let it be a feel good moment, especially if you're going to go the Zelina route with the Queen side, and just, call it a night.
This is such an interesting match to me because this is the first time I can remember that the King of the Ring, in the at least recent past, that we've had two baby faces in the finals where it's not clear that a heel is going to win, because this is a tournament just begging for a heel to win because of how it's been dealt with in the past, that it's, people playing pretend and everyone's their subjects and they're suddenly delusional that they're an actual king or queen. But in this case, we have two baby faces, and I think this one's actually fairly easy to predict, and that's crazy, but I think Xavier wins. And it's not because I don't think Finn is capable of winning. And actually, when you look at where he's been in the main event of the last pay-per-view with Roman Reigns, and that he is just a plug-in main eventer, this guy is a future Hall of Famer. It's not that, but rather a storyline that I think is going to start with Xavier here at King of the Ring. This, I believe, and this is again probably not going to happen, but I want to go out on a limb because it's fun and say that this is the start of a heel turn for Xavier. And what I think is going to happen is Xavier wins. Now, how he wins is going to be interesting to me, because if he flat out just pins Finn Balor like with no help and it's just a flat clean win, that'll be really shocking to me because of how the pecking order of these two. I mean, you have Xavier on this end and Finn Balor all the way over here. I mean, like, it's in terms of how they've been presented, the believability of Xavier beating Finn clean is really not exactly high. So it could be by hook or crook. I don't think Xavier's going to cheat to win. Perhaps somebody could come in and screw over Finn Balor, starting a program with him on the side. So that's, I think, possible. But right now, I think Xavier wins. Maybe by distraction from Kofi Kingston or something, and we have Xavier win. And for a little while, I think he'll come out and do exactly what you said, just being a complete jokester. Everybody knows how I feel about New Day, especially Xavier Woods in New Day and Kofi. It's not my favorite at all. It's actually just cringeworthy the way they've acted the last 6 years. But he's going to come out and do his ridiculousness and make as many puns as he can and inside jokes as he can and breaking the fourth wall as he can. And it'll be intolerable for a while. But now, again, that's my opinion. I think that you're going to have Xavier maybe start to believe and start to believe in his own hype. And where, you start to see seeds being planted of Xavier getting a temper with Kofi backstage. There's a moment of that. And then it just starts to slowly evolve into Xavier getting fed up with being the second fiddle or the third fiddle of the New Day and the forgotten son, so to speak, of the New Day. And he finally gets some attention on himself, and, it's time for me to shine. You guys have both had your time. And that's the role I want to see for Xavier. I'm over this just 6-year run or 7-year run, whatever the hell it's been, of just the constant pancakes, although they've backed off on the pancakes, but just the trombone, I can't stand that stuff. So I'm ready for an Xavier heel turn. And if this is the start of the story for that, yeah, sign me up. Listen.
Welcome back to the WWE Podcast. Let's get back to more great wrestling audio.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be here for it. And that's something that could be a slow burn, and it could be a fun one-on-one match with Kofi and Xavier at WrestleMania. You know, have them have a nice blow-off match there, and have it lead to there. Or if you don't want it to go that long, maybe like a Royal Rumble or something, fun and that's pretty, like pay-per-view wise, upper grade level. And then while you have Big E over there, whether or not he's still champion at that time, but he's doing his own thing, and then have them kind of, doing their own thing, and then they can either have Big E, interact with them to try to, be the peacemaker. And then there's just so many different things that you can do with that going forward. So that would definitely be fun. So, but it's a matter of, does WWE want to actually break them up, and are they committed to doing that? Because they did the whole split with the New Day, and then they turned around and brought them right back all three together. Granted, Kofi and Xavier back now are on SmackDown, so they are separated again. But it's just I feel like a matter of time almost. So if they stick with it, I'd love to see that. But part of me just doesn't think that they're actually going to pull the trigger on it. But dude, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, that's the
I think
thing.
he could totally do it too.
Easily. And at this point, if WWE feels they haven't gotten all the juice out of the squeeze of the New Day for 6 or 7 years, I don't know what the merchandise sales are. Only they do. But unless they are through the roof, I would argue strongly against them staying together anymore. I mean, Xavier has proven he's a singles competitor. He had a great match with Bobby Lashley inside Hell in a Cell on Monday Night Raw a number of months ago. He's shown he can be a main event talent inside the ring. And I think it's time that he just starts to get that push and just get him out of the New Day just funk that he's been in. They've been the same guys for the last 7 years. I think it's time to move on. I mean, we need to tell, Big E that as well. That's another topic, but yeah, this is to me is Xavier's time. And I'll be really disappointed if it's just him. He wins, and then he's just joking about being a king and making 1,000 different ways to pun the word king and whatever royalty for the next 2 months. I'll be really disappointed if that is really the goal, is to make him an even more of a comedy segment of winning the King of the Ring and bragging about it. And all that. That will be the worst part of this. If you're going to make this tournament, have some kind of big payoff for it. Make it mean something other than just make it just like a comedy bit. That'll be really disappointing if the payoff the whole thing is just make Xavier more funny. That's a terrible way to end the tournament if that's the only goal. But I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it's the heel turn. So we'll see. Okay, moving up the ladder here into the Raw Tag Team Championship, RK Bro versus AJ Styles, and again, take your pick on pronunciation, Omos, because WWE doesn't know themselves. I've heard Corey Graves pronounce it differently. I've heard AJ Styles pronounce it differently on the same show. Jimmy Smith pronounces it differently. So take your pick. I'm going to say Omos because whatever. I'm as right as anybody else, apparently. Maybe Omos should clear this up. But anyway,
Right.
I'm really looking forward to this match. Really looking forward to this match. This may be a tag team match that I've been looking forward to the most out of any tag team match in the last few years. And not just because all four guys, rather, can really go in the ring. And I even includes Omos, who plays his role very well. I don't mean that he's on the same level physically and athletically as the other three, but he plays his role very well. And that team right now is very over. I'm looking forward to this for a number of reasons. Number one is, how do they book him in this match? Does he finally take a finish? I don't mean get pinned. I mean just take a finish, maybe the RKO. How does he react to it? Does he sell it like the Fiend and just get right back up? How does that work? The chemistry between AJ and Randy is excellent. The chemistry between Riddle and AJ is excellent. Really, the chemistry between AJ and Pick Your Wrestler is excellent. So quality-wise, I expect nothing but B+ to A- or higher quality of match, given that they have hopefully 15 minutes or so. I do think, though, this is really tough. I still think RK Bro will retain because perhaps WWE is ready to let Omos go his own way. If they lose, maybe that'll be the final straw, and they decide to break this team up and let AJ finally go off on his own and do his own thing. I have my doubts. Given that RK Bro really has only one team that is of their caliber to work with, which is why they're continuing to work with them. I mean, the next team down is the Viking Raiders. I mean, it's not great. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a really good match. Omos is the X factor here. Everything they do seems to be built around this guy. Riddle's always fun with Randy. I still think they retain in what's going to be, I think, a very entertaining match. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's time. I think they're going to start, if this isn't it, very soon, planting the seeds or just going full throttle with breaking Omos and AJ Styles up. Because I think the singles division for the men's division really needs fresh challengers for like the championship picture, because you have Big E. Who's he really going to face going forward? You know, like you need to start building challenges for him regardless of how long you're going to keep him as a champion. You need to start building, you know, people to be champions. So I think they've kind of run their course, and it's been pretty good. You know, I'd give them credit. They lasted longer than I thought they were going to. They did much better as a team than I expected. But yeah, I don't see AJ and Omos winning this. Like you said, that they it wouldn't shock me if they did, though, just because the tag division is so depleted, especially on Raw. So it's kind of like if they don't win, like you said, like who do they go to? I guess it would be the Viking Raiders, and they just made their appearance on Raw, you know, like confronting Morrison. Yeah, it's just I don't. And by the way, it's just so funny that like yoga is apparently like this foreign thing in WWE. Like I don't know. It's just it's just our meditation. It's just I don't know. Just funny that like no one seems to know what John Morrison is doing back there, or it's just like this bizarre thing. But yeah, so like you said, I think Randy and Riddle are going to retain here. There's still a lot left to get out of this team. And I don't think you want to have them lose at Crown Jewel. I think if and when they do lose, you want it to be here in the States, or you know, like maybe on this side of the world, and just have it where it can get a bigger reception, more emotional and reception to it for, you know, for that matter, and just have it mean more. So yeah, I think Riddle and Orton retain here.
Yeah, I think they do too. I mean, again, the case to be made for them to lose would be okay. They still need to have Omos sit under the learning tree of AJ Styles. I don't mean that in a storyline way. I mean that in like real life, that they still want AJ to be kind of the mentor for Omos.
Yeah, well, he can be a bodyguard. You know, like he can be AJ's bodyguard. Like they don't have to turn on each other. They can just refocus their attentions on having AJ be champion and have, you know, kind of like a Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Diesel type thing. Like have just Omos there, still there with AJ, and have the, you know, the occasional tag match, especially when they're doing like their live shows and stuff like that. Like still have Omos there, but you know, have AJ doing his thing, but have them still together if you need it. You know, it's just you don't have to. This can be one of the rare times they don't actually turn on each other.
Which, I mean, I'm fine with that. I actually don't know if I want to see AJ versus Omos right now, because their chemistry is really good. But I mean, AJ is a heel. The thing is, AJ can play any role. I mean, AJ is a babyface and a heel. It's equally good, and that is a rare thing to have as a talent. Usually, you skew one way or the other. AJ is great at both. But the only thing I would say to that, well, I think that's a good analogy with like Kevin Nash as the kind of the bodyguard for Shawn Michaels. I just, the way that WWE's been, what they've been showing me over the last several months with Omos, they don't view him as a secondary guy. They view him as a main event guy eventually. And to have him be the bodyguard of AJ, I think WWE would look at that as a demotion. Even if AJ's champion, Omos is still in the shadow of AJ, so to speak, in their mind. I think that they are looking to him to eventually have that big moment with Brock Lesnar or, you know, Commander Aziz. I don't know. I mean, so like they view him as a main eventer, and I don't think that they think Omos is just that guy that's going to be, you know, basically the doorman for Raw Underground, right? Like, I mean, he's come a long way from being the bouncer at the door, and so that's why I don't think it'll happen. But honestly, when you look at the draft, I'm looking at it now just to make sure I didn't miss another team. They do have the Street Profits who have been drafted to Raw, so they do have that. I mean, the Street Profits are probably the biggest tag team on Raw outside of RK Bro. So I don't know.
And that'd be fun.
Yeah.
RK Bro and Street Profits.
Yeah, no, that would be a fun rivalry. I mean, there's no heel there, but that's fine with me. I mean, the tag team division on every front, on the men's and women's side, is so thin. Especially the women's side doesn't even exist. They don't even have a tag team division right now.
Yeah,
it doesn't
ridiculous
at all. Like, I mean, we have Shayna Baszler. We have Nikki, and Rhea going unopposed in the tag team division, because there isn't one. It's absolutely insane. Just dissolve them. I mean, I don't know. That's a whole nother topic. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's move on. So just to be clear, we're both going with RK Bro on this one to retain. Okay. Let's get to, here we go. Seth Rollins versus Edge. Hell in a Cell. Boy, this one's tough, at least in my mind. But what do you think, Ashley?
Yeah, man, this one is tough because it's one of those things where it's like, does Seth need to win more than Edge? And like, you think of, since Edge has returned, like his win and loss record, and like, does that even matter with someone like Edge and who he is and all that, everything, like his legendary status? Does that even really matter? But I think it kind of does get to a point where, like, you don't want him losing all the time or losing all the big matches. Like, you want to see him win one, especially when it's not for the title, right? So is this it? Since he came up with a match, like, is this his time to win the blow-off feud and then do whatever he's going to do after that? But I think I'm gonna go with Seth on this one. I think Seth needs this a little bit more, especially with his history in Hell in a Cell matches. I think he needs to have a good showing in this. And I think this is going to be an excellent match. Like, I think this is, like we were mentioning earlier, like the brutality is going to be just out there with this. And I know for that, I think that's why Seth needs to win. I think Seth needs to go to that dark place and just beat Edge, and whatever that means for Edge, if he goes away for a little bit, and then comes back again, or what have you. But I think if Seth loses, what does that mean for him? Like he is going to be on Raw now, so I think he would be a fun opponent for like a Big E. So you don't want to beat down Seth, like you don't want to have him lose to Edge in this big of a story, because this has been up there as well. Like everyone talks about Brock and Roman, as they should, but this has been a very good and drawn out story that's been told over the past few months now. So I think, as much as I'd love to see Edge win this, because I'm obviously a big Edge fan, I think I'm going with Seth.
Yeah, look, I look at this match and I say, not only who needs it more, but looking forward, who can benefit long-term the most from this, and who's going to be here more often? The answer is Seth. The answer is Seth Rollins. And again, you're right. The Edge can only take so many losses before it's like, all right, this is getting a little much. Like, Edge has lost many more matches since he returned than he's won. And I understand that. Even though he's a Hall of Fame talent, he is in the give back portion of his career. He knows that he's not here to make himself, but rather help new talent, on top of vindicating himself and ending the career he wants to, the way he wants to end it. But Seth right now, I think, could benefit more, because if he wins, he can go off on just this just tirade about bragging about beating Edge and how, he's one of the most sadistic men in WWE and he has no mercy for anybody. And like, he could really build off this. Whereas if Edge wins, it'll be cool for Edge to win for a nostalgic feel. And I love Edge. I mean, he's one of my favorites of all time. But if he wins, I think that damages Seth more than it helps Edge. And the reason is that they've done such a great job building up Seth, and Seth has done such a great job building up Seth, that if he loses this blow-off, I think it's going to take a lot of the steam out of his words away, and out of him being a believable, credible heel, out of his sales, so to speak. So I think Edge doesn't need it as much as Seth, and I think Edge will be not as beneficial as Seth would be winning it, and it would hurt Seth a lot more than Edge losing. Who, if Edge loses, yeah, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that sucks to have him come back and lose so much. But Edge is so good on the mic that he can talk you right back into believing him like that. So, I mean, exactly. Edge is so good on the microphone. It's just stupid. It's unfair how good he is. And saying that he's going to scar the soul of Seth Rollins. That was a really cool visual that he put in our brains. Yeah. Like, what does that look like? Like, what does a soul being scarred look like? I mean, it's just so masterfully done by Edge. And he had another level of intensity that was yelling and screaming, but there was like anger in his voice. It it was so good. Their promos, both of them, knocked it out of the park on Friday night on SmackDown. And so I think Seth wins simply because he needs it more. He is more of the future than Edge is. Edge has more victories in his future. I just don't think it's going to be this one. If he wins, I'll be fine with it, but I'll also be a little bit concerned for Seth.
Definitely.
But brutality, probably some thumbtacks or two. Maybe they'll find a way out of the cell. Like sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But yeah, this is going to be one of those matches that you go, the crowd's going to be going, concerned for the health and safety of these two individuals. It's going to be that kind of match. So
I agree.
All right, let's move on. Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. No disqualification. I'll take this one first. This actually, outcome-wise, it's actually a little difficult because Goldberg has already lost technically to Bobby Lashley. But Goldberg is, I think, overstayed his welcome by many, many years at this point. I actually think, I think Goldberg's going to win this, but I think Bobby will quickly get his heat back by beating down Goldberg in front of his son, maybe. Because I think they want the mystique of Goldberg, whatever's left of the mystique of Goldberg, to still exist, because I don't think Goldberg's done with WWE matches. And Lashley said he wants to end the career of Goldberg, whereas Goldberg literally threatened the life of Lashley, which I really don't like. I've been on a rant about that. It just makes no sense. It's the one thing you don't talk about. Well, one of many things. Like, you don't talk about death, politics, or I forget the other thing. But there's just certain no-nos. And Goldberg not only doubled down, he tripled down on saying he's going to kill Bobby Lashley. You're not going to deliver on that.
Like, it's not a big deal.
Go ahead.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, but he's just making these comments like he's going to kill Lashley for what he did to his son, and he's only going to be happy if Bobby's dead. It's like, dude, like, what? Like, it's not even logical. Like, I mean, I totally get it. Like, if someone hurt my family, I'd want to, seek retribution on them as well. But, like, first of all, dude, like, it was your son's fault. Like,
yeah, no one's even talking about that.
You can't be but so mad. Okay, so yes, I would be mad that Bobby didn't stop. Like, you can say something for that. Like, okay, like, but like, at the end of the day, it was Gage's fault. Like, it is what it is. So I get, like, some parents may just want to be blind to the fact, like, oh, well, I still have to defend my son or whatever. But, like, I'm sorry, like, yeah, I would stand up for my kid, but, like, if I saw he did something wrong, I'd be like, yeah, dude, like, first of all, you shouldn't have jumped the barricade, gotten into the ring, and then attacked a dude who's, like, 5 times your size. Like, come on, man. Like, you're lucky, like, it stopped. Like, like, it's just, it is what it is. So it's just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but It's just, like, it's laughable. Like, that's what takes me out of it. Like, if he wouldn't have said comments like that, and he would have just, like, said whatever other Goldberg sayings, then fine. Like, a good grudge match, cool. But the second you said, well, I'm going to kill Lashley, it's like, okay, well, you're not. So there's that, or if you do, then you'll be in jail. So then there's that too. So then, come on. What am I supposed to believe here?
It's preposterous that you're going to, that's the one thing that you don't talk about, because 100% you're not going to deliver on that. Especially as a babyface, you can't say that, because the fans go, yeah, well, Goldberg, listen, that's not happening. Like, we all know that ain't happening. So stop. And the thing is, it's not like he's even using it as a figure of speech or some kind of metaphor. He's going to kill him. He actually, no, he's saying, no, I'm going to beat you within an inch of your life, and then I'm going to finish the job. Like, that, you are actually saying you're going to commit murder on national television, on international television. You're going to do that. Like, and Goldberg, Bobby Lashley at least made sense and said, that's like, I could charge you right now. Like, this is criminal. And it's true. You can't threaten the life of somebody like that. I mean, you can actually be put in jail. Like, you can't do that. And so it makes no sense why they went this road. It almost seems as if it's desperation to get attention to this program, which is really what it smells like, is desperation. And to me, I think Goldberg wins, so that way the babyface wins. They can end the program, but Bobby Lashley gets his heat back by just trying to injure Goldberg, and then Goldberg goes away for a while based on that injury of Goldberg that he suffered at the hands of Lashley after the match. And I'd also love to see Gage just like get like just completely demolished by Bobby Lashley. Like I want to see him get speared by Bobby Lashley in front of Goldberg, who's handcuffed to the rope. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
Perfect.
After he's beaten down, Goldberg's half conscious, and he spears his son intentionally in front of his dad. That's what I want. That's how sick I am, and that's what as a father too. I want to see that. You threaten my life. Here's what I'm going to do to yours, right? Like, so I don't know. This is so weird. I don't expect this match to last more than like 7-8 minutes tops, under 10 for sure. And which sucks because Bobby Lashley's so good, but
yeah, well, and because this is a no holds barred match, so this could go long. This obviously isn't going to be a regular short Goldberg match, right? So, like you said, I think this goes at least like 9-10 minutes, and I think it's going to be interesting to see because you can't. It's normally with matches like this, like they try to like venture out into the arena and do stuff like that, but I highly doubt they're going to go across the barricade and fight in front of all those fellas out there. So it's going to be an interesting type of no holds barred match too. Like, is it just going to be a mild version? Are they going to try to, like fight up the ramp, or are they just, if it's not even going to be that big of a deal, and they're just going to hit each other with like, of course, like kendo sticks and like maybe like a table or something like that. But I think that part of me, like, do you think Gage is actually going to be there? Do you think he's going to bring him to Saudi Arabia? Like, because he's mentioned like Gage being there, but like I don't know if that's like a real thing.
I hope not, unless he's there to just get beat up by Bobby. I hope not. I mean, let's just end this. Nobody wants Bobby Lashley in this program with Goldberg, at least not anybody in my knowledge. It'll be interesting to hear how the crowd reacts in Saudi Arabia to Goldberg. People that may not know a whole lot about his history, that may not have been fans when Goldberg was around and hot in the late 90s. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, I said this on my show last night that whatever reaction anyone gets in Saudi Arabia, I'm throwing it out the window. Like I don't count this because it's not a typical reaction or the typical fan base that is reacting to their product. It's this once a year crowd that you never know what the hell they're going to do other than cheer Mansoor. Like I'm honestly throwing and tossing everything out the window. No one's traveling from the United States to Saudi Arabia. Like very few, if any, people are going there from the United States.
Amazing with right now, especially like with the pandemic, that they're even able to. Like I was shocked when they first announced that they were having the show this year because I was just certain that with the pandemic and travel restrictions, like it wasn't going to be a thing. But I don't, I mean, obviously I know restrictions have eased and stuff like that, but I'm just. It's not like a quick trip. It's not even to like Canada or, anything like that. That's not terribly far. They're going, what is it, like 17 hours away, like cross country. It's just like, I mean, cross country, across the world. It's just like, I'm just shocked that they were able to do it. Like for like guidelines and like provisions and all that crap wise, like they were even able to. So
money. Money will make people do
sense.
things. Yep.
That's true.
It's all about
private
the dollar.
jets and all that good stuff.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, the Gage, please. I mean, just don't show up. I mean, it's if I was Bobby Lashley, I would have just said, hey, look, like if your son is that dumb to get into the ring with a guy like me when he's a tenth of my size, then that's more of a reflection on you as a father that you would raise a son that stupid. I mean, like there's so many things they could have done. I mean, like really, and they just went with the narrative. Oh well, he attacked my son. Well, your son was a dumbass who got in the ring when he had no purpose in there, no business in there, to attack a guy who's 50 times his strength and speed. What do you think he's going to do with that? I mean, and again, but he's so much smaller. Yeah, but how do you know he doesn't have a weapon? Like, you want to start talking about real stuff? How do you know that?
Well, and that's the point. Like, that's the point with him being so much smaller. You physically know, like when Bobby, okay, like let's say Bobby truly didn't know who he was, right? And Bobby has him, like, he can feel that he's not the average size of a wrestler. So if you were expecting a wrestler to be coming in there to save Goldberg, like dude's much smaller, so it's obviously not a wrestler. So it's like even more of a reason. Like obviously we're going way too far into this that they care, but it's just like there's just so many things because like Goldberg being a wrestler, he would know no one jumps the barricade, and if you do, like you get what you get, dude. Like
you get exactly what you deserve.
I don't know. It's not even that big of a deal.
No, but it's just, but they drilled it into our head that we're supposed to hate Lashley for this. I'm like, he didn't just pull him out of a crowd. Like I could see if he was cheering for his dad at ringside and do what Brock Lesnar did to Dominic, which actually was hilarious in front of Rey Mysterio. Like that was so much fun to see Dominic get destroyed by Brock. It wasn't like that. I mean, it's not like he wasn't unprovoked. He was physically provoked. It's self-defense. He got what he deserved, and I actually would argue he should have gotten more. So anyway, all right, I'm just kidding.
Fined.
Yes, and fined. Yeah. You're not a performer. You don't belong there. You should be banned. And anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
All right, Big E versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Ashley, boy, oh boy, if there's one match to pick that has just 1,000% predictability on it, I think this one. But maybe you have other thoughts.
Yeah, no, this is Big E all day. Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry. Like they just needed a opponent for Big E, and Drew's there. It's everything happening right before the draft or right before the season premiere, I should say. So I'm sure it's going to be a pretty good and fun match. Obviously, they can't get along, if they're a tag team, but they still respect each other when they're fighting against each other one-on-one. So it's a weird dynamic there, but I think it's going to be a cool match. It is what it is. I'll be interested to see if Drew brings out the sword to Crown Jewel or if that stays backstage or it doesn't even make the flight to begin with. So, yeah, I think it'd be solid, maybe 15, 18-minute match. But I think Big E wins this as he should and moves on to whomever after. And not for nothing, it is. I am kind of excited to see the season premieres of Raw and SmackDown. Next week coming up after Crown Jewel to see how the draft actually shakes off because I think it'd be cool to see who Big E actually goes into a story with being the champion. So obviously, yeah, I'm picking Big E here, but I would be shocked honestly if Drew won.
Well, don't forget Survivor Series is next, so that's a throwaway exhibition pay-per-view.
The one time a year.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, except for Rumble, Mania, King of the Ring tournaments, random times that happens to no explanation, super shows. Yeah, except all that. Yeah, no problem. It's just once a year. Yep. So, yeah, I think, if you're going to ask me that, I think it's probably Big E and Seth Rollins is probably the next big program for him. That's my guess. But all right, who do I think is going to win this? I mean, it's not even close. This is as predictable as it gets. It's Big E who wins. Now, does he win clean? Does he win with help? I think no. I think he flat out just beats Drew, and they try to really cement Big E as a legitimate champion. And Drew goes to SmackDown and slowly starts his program with Roman Reigns potentially. We'll see if that happens. Well, there's lots of different scenarios there, but Big E wins. There's really not much more to say about this. I don't think Drew's turning heel, even if it's a bad, people have been saying, oh, well, he'll lose and then pretend to shake his hand and Claymore him. I'm like, no, they don't want Drew turning heel, going to SmackDown with the mega heel of Roman Reigns. You got to have a babyface to balance it. And Drew is that babyface. So I think that in a loss, Drew will still be a good sport. They'll shake hands and hug. Although the relationship has been very bizarre over the last few weeks where they act like great friends. They've got secret handshakes that they do backstage. They're laughing and joking. And then the next thing you know, they're shoving each other in the ring for no reason, not provoked. And, Drew claymores Big E, and then Big E almost attacked Drew this week. They've got such a bizarre on-camera relationship. I can't figure it out. But I think Drew takes the pinfall here with the worst finish of all time with the big ending, and Big E retains. I mean, there's really not much more to say about it. I think it'll be a fine match. That's really it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Last two matches here. We've got, that's what I want to talk about. The women's here. Here we go. The women's match, because guys, they can now perform in front of an audience. They can perform hopefully in their normal ring attire, but if they're wearing, I don't know, like shower curtains, then, it's not going to be unexpected. So the SmackDown Women's Championship, here we go. Triple threat, Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. Ashley, who wins this?
This one is actually really hard. And it's honestly kind of confusing to me because I don't know why exactly it's just the SmackDown Women's Championship. another reason why I like the whole timing of the draft is so confusing, like in how they do it, because it's just like it doesn't. I don't know. It's just kind of been a mess to me, and maybe I'm just like missing. Like I think I may have missed a show, and I just missed like a chunk of information somewhere, but I don't know. And like I truly don't know because Bianca and Becky are going to be on Raw, and Sasha is going to be on SmackDown, right? After the draft, like after Crown Jewel.
Yes. So Charlotte goes to SmackDown. Bianca and Becky are on Raw.
Yeah, and Sasha stays on SmackDown
And Sasha stays
as
on
well.
SmackDown.
Yeah, so you would think Sasha would win since she's staying on SmackDown, and Becky and Bianca are going to be on Raw. But then we still have Charlotte with the Raw Women's Championship on SmackDown. So I don't. It's one of those
such
things
a mess.
I need to write it down so I can process everything and kind of like maybe draw arrows to see who's going to end up. It's one of those things that just shouldn't be this complicated, right? Like it should be in this. It's another reason with the draft, right? Like they need to have fundamental rules with the draft because like to where like maybe champions don't get drafted or it's just there's something to prevent this cluster. Because I've like part of me is like, well, logic and common sense would tell you Sasha would win since she's going to remain on SmackDown, and then maybe they'll have like an impromptu match with Charlotte and either Charlotte and Becky, or maybe a triple threat with Charlotte, Becky, and Bianca, and have either Becky and Bianca win to beat Charlotte, so that gets the Raw Championship off of Charlotte. But then it makes me think that back to what was it last year when I think it was the New Day and the Street Profits. Yeah, they just swapped titles.
Yep.
Like there's no big deal.
Yep, that's it. And that's the way it should be.
That's why I'm sitting here like, damn, am I an idiot for putting all this thought into like maybe they should do this, Sasha win here, so they can do blah blah blah. And or they're just gonna have Becky retain, so she doesn't take a loss, and then they'll just swap the titles. Or it's one of those things where it kind of makes me conflicted as a fan because like I really want to care, like I'm really wanting to put like all this energy and thought into like, oh, well, this would totally make sense if Sasha wins because like I said, Charlotte can lose to Becky or Bianca, blah blah blah. And then I just kind of feel foolish because I'm like, they probably don't even care. They probably haven't even put this much thought into it. So that's why I'm torn. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and they are counting on us as fans who they believe have, a room temperature IQ to not go beneath the surface and just take us at face value. Don't dig too deep. It's a championship match. Don't look at the possibilities and the implausibilities and things that just simply don't make sense that we're doing. Just look at it as it's a great women's triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and whoever you like, that's who you should want to win. Like they are looking at this and just hoping that we don't dig beneath the surface. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to not dig beneath the surface because there's so many things that just don't make sense really as to even the lead up to this. Like, why is Bianca getting a Raw Women's Championship match on Raw, number one? If she wins it, she's saying she's going to be a double champion. Well, how's that going to work if you are on Raw with the SmackDown Women's Championship? It's a championship that's exclusive to the brand. So what are they going to do if you're a double champion? Are you going to be able to float? Can you not float? Do you have to give up a belt? They make this unnecessarily complicated. And I know what they'd say. They would say to me, "You're making this complicated." And it's just, to me, no, I'm not. I'm thinking about this in a logical storyline perspective from A to point B to point C. And I shouldn't have to overthink this. But as a fan, you want this to make sense. But they have competitors in here and scenarios that you're like, wait. How can you have brand exclusive championships with star exclusive talent that maybe carry over the championship to a brand that they're not on? Like it's insanity.
Yeah, and first of all, my response, if they were to say, like, to me, for instance, like, oh, you're putting too much thought into this and you're not thinking the right way, like, okay, well, explain to me what was your thought process behind this?
Yeah.
When you looked at, okay, Crown Jewel, we're gonna have this match, and the story leading up to it is gonna be this. Explain to me, please, because I would love to see where I missed a segment or an interview or a match or something that laid all this out, and I can be like, damn, you know what? I am so wrong. I'm sorry. I missed that. My bad. I would love to see that. But it's just not there, dude. It's just not. And that's why it's so frustrating because like this could be like so cool. This could be like a really monumental match. Like it could be like in all this story BS to this side, like these women are, and this isn't their fault. Like this isn't them at all. This is the creative that they're forced to portray. So this isn't the talent themselves, right? Because this match is, I'm sure with the talent involved, it's going to be amazing. You know what I mean? Like these aren't slouches in the ring by any means.
No.
Like this is going to be an awesome match.
It's going to be
and that's
so
what's
good. Yeah.
That's what's so frustrating. It's like, because, you know, like even the story didn't even have to be this complicated. It could have been something so basic. And then it takes you all the way back to Becky returning to begin with. So it's just, one of those things. And that's why it's frustrating to me. So I say all this, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. And as much as I could be wrong, since they just had Becky lose as well on SmackDown, I'm going to go with Sasha winning here.
Whoa.
I'm going to go with Sasha Banks winning the title. That gets the correct title on the correct show, because it's easier to have, because I don't, as much as, and if I'm wrong about this, I'm really going to be probably hurt to my core, but I think that for all their faults, and not that this makes this right by any means, but I think that they view the women's respective singles titles, I hate to say it, but more importantly in a higher regard than they do like the tag titles. So I don't see them just swapping them. I can't believe that they would do something like that. So I'm gonna say Becky loses here, and I think it'll be something like they hit their finishers and Becky's going to go for the pinfall, but then Sasha pushes her out of the way at the last second and kind of steals the victory that way. So you still have kind of like a way out, because since it's a triple threat as well, there's no rules, right? No DQ, so anything can really happen. So that gets the SmackDown title back on Raw, and then I could see, like I said, Becky or Bianca like fighting Charlotte, because they're going to have to get the title off of Charlotte as well at some point. So I think they're going to have another match either on Raw or I guess it would have to be Raw, because I don't think there's another show until Survivor Series, which is until next month, which I'm not even sure the exact date of that. But
yeah, I don't know either. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like I said, this is probably another one we've put more thought and time into than they really have. But, and I could be completely wrong. It could be a quick just Becky retains and they move on in 5 minutes. But I hope they do it.
No, and that in of itself, what you just said, that we put more thought into it than they have, that in of itself is the problem. Like they haven't gone this deep or cared to go this deep or think it's not worth going this deep to make sure this makes sense. And that's why they would project on us that we're thinking too much. You just enjoy the product. You're ruining it for yourself. You're overthinking it. No, us overthinking it, us getting frustrated with the logic being not even a factor here, is a reflection on you not doing your job. That's exactly what this is WWE and creative and Vince, who are just not willing to put the effort in to make sure the draft is clean, it makes sense, there are rules that are adhered by, instead just making this mishmash of talent.
It's harder this way.
Yeah.
Like you would think like it's harder to be this convoluted than it would be to just be like, all right, A, B, and C. Like,
yep.
It's just, I don't know, dude. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just feel like just like it gives you it kind of makes you stressed out in a way to think like how jumbled this is when it can really be so simple.
Because it makes you feel stupid. Like it makes you like, wait, am I missing something? Like, why are they here? Did they explain why this person's here? But instead, they want to have their cake and eat it too, where they want all the talent on the show, even though it's the season premiere of SmackDown last week or whatever, which makes no sense because they told us the season premiere is after the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, but that's neither here nor there. They just have talent on here for no reason who are challenging for championships that for the brand that they're not going to be on. And they're making this. They want to be able to make the biggest match possible without adhering to any kind of logic and thinking that having the biggest match possible is the most important thing, instead of making sure that it makes effing sense and that things are clean and easy to understand. Of, okay, if so-and-so wins, this is going to happen. If this person wins, this is going to happen. Instead, we're still left to go, well, I don't know who to really root for here because I don't know how this is all going to pan out. Like, this is super confusing. And you're right. Like, if Charlotte ends up she isn't ending up on SmackDown. I don't think she's going to lose the Raw Women's Championship anytime soon. unless they do some kind of, like you said, match after Crown Jewel, but then that would shoot the whole thing down that this is the season premiere. They just told us the drafts go into effect the day after Crown Jewel. So how are they going to have a match between Charlotte and, say, I don't know, Bianca or whoever's on Raw to transfer the belt? And that would be the most predictable outcome of all time too. Like, oh, well, they're clearly having this to transfer the belt. So I honestly think all that
Which is why Bianca should have won this past Monday on Raw.
Yeah.
She should have beat Charlotte to begin with, because that would have defeated this whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
it would have.
That actually would have solved things, because then Bianca would have been, she's drafted to Raw, she's the Raw Women's Champion, and then you could have had Sasha Banks, like you said, win, and there you go, problem
I was
solved.
blown away. I honestly, not to, I know this has nothing to do with Raw, but I was just honestly so. They got me, like the amount of time and the hype and the fact that it was the main event. Like, I was like, oh wow, like this is. And once I realized that it was actually getting into be like a pretty good match, I was like, oh wow, Bianca's probably going to win here. Like, once I really started thinking about it, you're like, it would make sense. Like, she's going to be here, blah blah blah. Like, it's just. I thought about it. I was like, yo, this is actually very logical, and it would be a cool moment, because like, it's like I said, the main event, it'd be a good moment for Bianca. Like, what a year she's had. This is just another accolade to add to that. And it ends with the DQ, man. And it's just like, you just feel stupid. And I literally felt stupid, because I made it a point to stay awake to watch the end of it. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to see this through, because I was really looking forward to it. And you know what? They just like kind of slapped me in the face with that ending. And I get it, right? Like, they're trying to protect everyone, but it's like, like, if wins and losses don't matter in one hand, then why do they in the other? So it's just frustrating.
Well, yeah, that certainly is another topic too, is wins and losses. But look, I think here's what's going to happen. After all that, I still haven't given my prediction. I do believe that Becky Lynch will retain, and I think it's going to be a straight title swap. Like, I mean, I that's what I believe. I know what you're thinking. I know why you don't think it's going to happen. But to me, that's because I think they want Charlotte as a champion on SmackDown, and they can't have a Raw Women's Champion who is a SmackDown star. So, I mean, that's why I think it's going to be a straight title swap between Becky and Charlotte, and then they're going to go off in
just
their
like
own programs.
They're just going to like hand the titles over?
I don't think it would be like they did it with the Street Profits and New Day. I think they'll have some kind of ceremony or something, and I mean, I don't know. Like, they'll find a way to do it, or maybe they'll just show up that, like, it'll be just on Twitter. Like, they're just going to say, due to circumstances of the Raw Women's Championship being on SmackDown and vice versa, Becky and Charlotte last night had a, whatever. Like, I could see them just doing it back, like, not even on the show. It's just transferred. They show up on each show with the belt, and that's how it happens. Like,
I would be disgusted, dude. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh.
So, oh Lord. All right. Well, this is gonna be very interesting now. I'm now very interested to see how this all pans itself out. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see here. The main event: Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Ashley, go ahead.
This one, man. This is something else. This is something else, and every time I talk to you, Matt, and every chance that I get, I will praise Ponytail Brock. I love the look. It cracks me up every time, and especially that he's a babyface now, and he can smile, like he's just like, he could be a little bit more animated and just like get into who he is as the Brock Lesnar character, which is like weird to say, because like you don't really think of Lesnar having a character, but like who he is. So it's just, man, like it just I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's why, selfishly, like, I would love to see this whole thing play out with Heyman staying on Roman Reigns' side and like have been telling the truth in regards to being, with Roman and not having anything to do with Lesnar, and Lesnar just having been playing mind games this entire time. Just because I want to keep seeing babyface Brock, I want him to have the ponytail going on. Like, I don't want him to change. Like, I love this guy. Like, I've always been a fan of his, but this is just like, I don't know what it is. Between that and the flannels and his little belt buckle, it's just, it cracks me up. And it's amazing because he looks like that and he can still just kill you in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So it's amazing. So, this whole story is, in my opinion, the thing that's been carrying WWE. It's just, Roman Reigns himself is just, it's amazing to see the development and just how just untouchable he's been this past year plus now at this point. That's why I don't think that they take the title off of him. I think that that Roman retains here is again, especially with it being at this event. I don't think they would do something that monumental, which is, in my opinion, what it would be at this point for Reigns to lose the title. I don't think they would do that here. I think they would do that at a bigger event. So I'm going with Reigns retaining here, and I don't think we get a final resolution on where Heyman resides either. I think something happens where he's going to interfere, and maybe it backfires on both Roman and Lesnar, so it's kind of still unclear on who he was trying to help. I think maybe something like that, and like the Usos then come out, and I see it kind of being like a convoluted mess like that, but I see it being like a clean victory too. Is maybe it's not so much on that. Maybe I'm kind of, as much as I'm saying that now, rather I'm kind of 50-50 on that. Like I don't know if you want to cleanly pin Brock here, and I don't think, as I'm talking it out, I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. As much as I just crapped on the DQ finish from Raw, I don't think it'd be as crazy to have a DQ finish here. I don't know, that the way this match ends, I may be a little unsure of, but I see Reigns retaining as the champion. This is going to continue. I don't see this being a one and done type thing. And I don't also think, like I said, we get a resolution on where Heyman resides. I think it just either, I don't know. And that's what's cool about this. Like, it's not really a clear vision of how it's going to play out. And that's obviously kudos to Heyman as well, because he's just, everything he does, like the simplest things, like the simplest like posts and tweets that he sends out, to just like the little comments he makes, the facial expressions, it's just everything. So long story short, Roman retains here, but the way it plays out is very difficult to determine.
Yeah, that is the whole story here. I don't think there's too many people who think Brock could win, which is crazy to think that Brock Lesnar doesn't have a chance in this match because it's Brock freaking Lesnar. I think this is the biggest threat Roman has had to his championship so far. I mean, I could see a slight chance of Brock winning, and then Heyman aligning himself, and it's a clear cut. Heyman was playing Roman all along. I mean, that's a slight chance. I don't think that that's going to happen, because to me, this is, like you said, I think this is the beginning, not the end of this story. Like, this is just another step to the ultimate payoff, which we'll eventually realize. I think eventually it's going to be Roman getting screwed by Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman was truly with Brock the whole time. That's my guess. And when that's going to play out and have its finale, probably going to be a while, maybe all the way to WrestleMania for that matter. It's going to be a while, but this is going to be, like you said, it's going to be up to the interpreter to decide who Paul Heyman is trying to help. In a scenario I'm thinking in my head is both guys are down. Maybe a double clothesline, or they're just both exhausted. It's the fourth quarter of the match. Paul Heyman grabs the championship and tosses it to in the middle of the ring, trying to get to Roman, but maybe accidentally gets too close to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar hits Roman Reigns with the championship, inadvertently helping Brock Lesnar. And while Brock's not going to win, Roman can come back to that and say, listen, wise man, I want you to be straight up here, and that kind of thing again, leading Roman to distrust Paul Heyman a little bit more. I think that's the only way that you could, one of the scenarios that could happen where, like you said, unintentionally helps Brock, but is plausibly trying to help Roman. And that's one example. But Roman does retain. I think Paul Heyman has a big part in that match in terms of the storyline of how Brock loses this. And it's going to be, I think, again, a very, very good match. These two have had, I don't know how many matches now. It seems like 5 or 6 at this point. But they work so well together. I'm not complaining. And it's been a while.
It feels fresh. It feels completely
it does.
fresh this time,
And I think it also feels fresh because Roman is not in the tired babyface role. He's in one of the best possible roles he's ever. He's in a career-defining role right now. He doesn't feel forced. He feels very natural. And I loved the hilarious line he gave Brock on SmackDown saying, are you some kind of dumbass? Like not looking at the contract and just signing it. I found that hilarious the way that
and
he
then called
just,
him a dumb farmer.
yeah, a dumb farmer. Like, and he said it so genuinely.
Yeah.
It was just, oh God, it's so
like something
great.
like a like your natural reaction. Like,
Yep.
like I'm sitting here, like your normal human being would be like, yeah, he's just signed a contract without reading it. Like, yeah, that's something we would say. And thank you, dude. Like you're actually saying something that's completely obvious and not rocket science. It's like, you're a dumbass. Like that is something that you would say, like, especially to your opponent. Like, come on.
Are you some kind of dumbass? It was one of it's just the way he said it. And he's looking Brock dead in the face because, like, who is that stupid to just not look at a contract and sign it? It was great. I loved it. And having these two in the ring, you know what kind of match you're going to get. It's going to be just, I mean, hard hitting. It's going to be just a classic, I think. And I think that the end is going to be a very Paul Heyman determinative ending with Roman Reigns retaining, but it's not going to come without questions of, well, Paul Heyman could have been helping Brock here, even though plausibly he could deny it and say, well, no, my tribal chief, I was trying to do this. And Paul Heyman he won't even say Roman. I love how he refers to him as his superior title of my tribal chief. And he actually welled up tears a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown. It's so good. It's so good. So I think that Brock loses. But this storyline, I think, is far from over. I don't know when Brock and Roman is going to happen again. Some people have pointed to WrestleMania. We'll see. But this is, to me, part one of this storyline.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up because I think, and it's crazy to think that it's pretty much time to start thinking about WrestleMania, right? Because Survivor Series is kind of like the the preseason, I guess you would say, or just the kind of the warm up season, and then because you got Rumble right after that, and then it's go time pretty much. So it's crazy to think and as we get closer and closer, I don't know about with The Rock and all that talk and everything like that, because if it's not The Rock, which. Do you think it has to be Survivor Series? The Rock would debut, and if not there, then it's not going to happen.
I actually don't. And here's the thing: I just had my weekend review, and I talked with one of my co-hosts, and I said I do not believe that The Rock is going to be here this year. And there's a new report floating around. That Rock is actually not going to be available this year to filming schedule. He's going to be in Australia during Survivor Series. He's not going to be able to make it this year. And they're pointing more towards next year, WrestleMania 39 in LA, that he would actually face Roman Reigns.
Oh, that's right.
So that was floating around. Now, I don't know how much credibility there is to that. The Rock could still show up at Survivor Series, and then we're off to the races with Rock and Roman. I would hope they pull the trigger this year, because who knows what the landscape's going to look like next year. Maybe they end up turning Roman babyface, and they don't have the patience for it. I mean, 18 months from now, everything could be different. The bloodline may not exist. Roman may not be as hot of a heel. I hope that they do it this year, given that the iron's hot. Strike now, because who knows what next year is going to look like. But that's the latest, is that The Rock is actually not available this year. Take that with a grain of salt. So.
Yeah, and that's why I think like we were just saying that this is just the beginning for Roman and Brock. I think it's, I don't want to say it's a safe bet, but when Lesnar does lose here, which again it's so crazy to think about and to actually say, but in my opinion, when Lesnar does lose here, and it's not going to be shocking, right? Because that's kind of how Lesnar has been portrayed these past handful of years. He's going to go away for a while, so I could see him going away until the Royal Rumble and being a surprise entrant there. Maybe winning, or maybe being, I don't know, maybe he would win, and then that would be the way he would get back to Roman, and then they can just resume that going from there. I just think that would be an easy way, if they're uncertain with anything else. That would be another easy go-to match, because while this is happening on Thursday, a lot of people aren't going to see it or hold it really to that high of a regard, regardless of what happens, unless Brock wins and it's this big deal, then they may be upset, that'd be a whole other thing at that point. But if things just kind of play out kind of, like just if it's more of a story and just like we were saying, Paul Heyman focus and Roman retains, I think that they could easily get away with Lesnar disappearing until after Survivor Series, maybe around Rumble, and then just going from there.
Yeah, there's no shame in that, and we don't expect Brock to be there. I mean, even once a month, we're like, oh, cool, Brock's going to be here this month. Like, I mean, we know what kind of schedule Brock is built into, and it's his character right now. Like you said, his character is. It's not a character. This, I believe, is who Brock is. It looks like he just, drove off his farm, got on a plane, and showed up at the arena. I mean, he's in his home clothes, it feels like. I'm not a fan of
an Uber.
Well, yeah, seriously, and then just didn't talk to the Uber driver the whole time, and just told him to shut up. I don't want to talk. Like, I mean,
I'll be in the back.
Yeah, like I'll be in the back. Do not talk to me. Like that's Brock Lesnar, and that's what I love about the guy, because I can relate to a lot of it. But I think Brock Lesnar. I mean, I'm not a fan of the ponytail. I'm actually I know you love it. I know a lot of people love it. I think he's just too old to be doing it. I know that, but at the same time, I appreciate it. Of just like Brock does whatever the hell Brock wants to do, and no one's going to say anything about it. And what's hilarious is too that Brock even said that in his short promo a couple of weeks ago. That Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar wants to do. It's the truth. There's no story to that.
Does.
Yeah, he shows up how he wants. He grows his hair how he wants. Vince doesn't say boo about it. I guarantee you, he just shows up in his like you said, his cut off sleeve plaid shirt. He comes in his cowboy boots, his jeans. I mean, this is just Brock.
And I could see him maybe having one carry-on bag, just one duffel bag with him. And just literally, like, that's how he got into his Uber car with his duffel bag. Like you said, he left his farm in that attire, had his duffel bag in case he needed to change or anything like that. And I'm sure he did. Like, he's probably flying back that night, too. Like, and that's the craziest thing. Like,
that's what I was just going to say. Yeah.
It probably is just, like, his personal belongings, like, so, like, he has somewhere to put it when he has to go to the ring. Like, I'm sorry, but just for stuff like that. So... Oh, it's just, and I think that's why I love the ponytail, because like you said, it's just Brock not giving a what and just being Brock, So, and it's refreshing because not many guys in WWE are like that. So that's why, in my opinion, I appreciate Brock so much more, because who knows how much longer we'll have him, because there was a while like he wasn't even signed, right? So I don't know, like it's the as the years pass, like I feel like we're winding down on Brock, and then who do we have,
I know the Brock he's a once in a generation star. We have to appreciate every time that we see Brock Lesnar. I know there was a time when we were all tired of seeing him as champion. He's an absentee champion, this and that. Like, we need to appreciate it. Just like when The Undertaker was getting close to the end of his career, a lot of us were saying, oh my God, no more matches, Taker, please, please, please. And now we're saying, oh man, I kind of miss The Undertaker on TV. I wish he would come out and do something, say something, do something. Not that we want matches from Undertaker, but sometimes you don't appreciate it until it's gone. I think that's a lot of life, a lot of times with everything, that you don't appreciate it until it's gone. But Brock Lesnar, I think he's got a couple of years, I think, left in him, and that'll be fine. I'm fine with just a couple more matches out of him, and WrestleMania type deal, Rumble type deal, and obviously these special events that he's getting paid many, many, many zeros on that check to be at. That's the Brock Lesnar way. And like you were saying, that's exactly what I was thinking is, well, everyone else is going to get stuck there probably for another day or two or whatever on the flight that they have booked. Brock Lesnar has probably booked his own charter flight back like immediately following that show, where he's got this private jet already set up to be back in the United States by the next day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He probably doesn't even shower. He's probably just like, just a quick change in the back and let's go. Probably, he just wants to get back and be done.
Yep.
That's a long flight for someone who doesn't like to travel already. That's a long flight.
It is, but he'd probably sleep through most of it, because on the way back, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like this is hilarious. I just love.
I wish we had a camera. I wish they would do some type of like, just what was it, like the WWE day of, like for Brock. I would pay so much. I would pay my annual subscription for Peacock.
I would too,
to see that.
I would too. It just to see, but the reality of it, I don't want it produced. I want raw footage.
Just follow him.
Follow him through the airport. See how he deals with people, like yelling at him, like trying to come up to him. Just like I want to see Brock Lesnar in that scenario. They haven't done it to my knowledge of anything like that with Brock, and I think there's a reason for that.
So.
They don't want their stars to be, I guess, portrayed as unapproachable, or that they don't like people, or because there's that's the opposite of what WWE tries to portray. So Brock Lesnar is his own entity, and I just love everything about the guy. Even when he's heel, he's the same guy essentially, except he can smile right now. So God, this match is going to be really good. But you and I are in lockstep with this, that Roman Reigns retains. But there's going to be a lot of Paul Heyman in terms of the finish here. And there's going to be a lot of question marks, even though Roman Reigns retains, of who he was really trying to help. That's going to be the story coming out of this, I think. So,
yeah. All
right. Well, this is going to be a fun pay-per-view. I'm not going to be able to actually watch it live, at least for part of it. I mean, I have to, quote unquote, work my big boy job. But I know some of you will be able to. Most of us are going to probably watch it on demand after the fact. But this should be a good show. I mean, I know that I kind of poo-pooed on it a little bit at the beginning, but I think that you have some really solid matches, some really solid storylines. You have some convoluted ones, but ultimately this is going to be pay-per-view there's going to be a lot to talk about on the back end.
Yeah, and I'm glad it's finally here and happening, so we can finally just kind of move on and let the draft play out and just kind of see how everything unfolds and just kind of go from there.
Definitely. So, Ashley, thank you so much for being here. Before you leave, how does everyone get in touch with you? If you want to share maybe your Twitter? Yeah,
of course. Thank you so much for having me. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at ASHMANNS.
Very good, very good. And Ashley, we'll have to have you on soon. And again, I have no idea when Survivor Series is. I'm assuming it's like a 4-week span. I mean, maybe right the week before Thanksgiving is my guess. But
probably.
Yeah. So we'll definitely have you on then, if not sooner. And I know you occasionally pop on with Mimi on the AEW Dynamite review that people love. So if anybody wants to hear more of Ashley, you can at least count on pay-per-views, but maybe even sooner than that. So.
Indeed.
All right. Thanks so much, Ashley. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too, Matt.
Bye.